If you ever find yourself staring through the steel bars of Australia's most secure prison, and honestly, let's hope you never do, you'll be face to face with a concrete fortress designed to extinguish any thought of escape. This is Goulburn Supermax, a modern-day Alcatraz that houses criminals considered so dangerous their very existence demands round-the-clock isolation. Surveillance cameras track every breath, reinforced walls loom impossibly high, and each inmate carries a reputation that sends chills down your spine. But what exactly happens behind those impenetrable walls, and how did Goulburn become the ultimate fortress of punishment? Let's step inside and find out. The fortress that holds Australia's worst. Deep in the southern tablelands of New South Wales, 3 kilometers from Goulburn city centre, stands Australia's most impenetrable prison. The High-Risk Management Correctional Centre, known simply as Supermax, represents the pinnacle of correctional security technology. When you approach this facility, you're not just entering a prison. You're stepping into a world where every movement is monitored, and escape is virtually impossible. The statistics alone will shock you. This facility cost taxpayers $47 million in recent upgrades alone, expanding from 45 beds to 75 maximum security cells. Every single person who enters this building, whether they're staff, lawyers, or visitors, must pass through facial recognition technology, iris scanning systems, and full-body X-ray machines. Your mobile phone signal dies the moment you step onto the property, thanks to sophisticated jamming equipment that blocks all cellular communication. The building itself tells a story of evolution in prison security. The original structure incorporates a massive heritage-listed sandstone gate that was hand-carved in 1884, but behind this historical facade lies cutting-edge security technology that would make military installations jealous. The entire complex is wrapped in a state-of-the-art integrated security system that monitors every square meter of the prison grounds and perimeter. Inside these walls, 75 of Australia's most dangerous individuals live under conditions so restrictive that human rights organizations have called them cruel and degrading. These aren't ordinary criminals. We're talking about people whose crimes shock the nation and whose continued presence in society would pose an unacceptable risk to public safety. But here's what makes this place truly extraordinary. Despite being Australia's first Supermax facility since the notorious Kattingal prison closed in 1978, it has managed to maintain an almost perfect security record. Almost perfect, because as we'll discover, even the most secure prison in the country isn't completely escape-proof. Life inside the electronic zoo. Step inside Supermax and you enter what inmates themselves call the electronic zoo. Every movement, every conversation, every breath is monitored by an array of surveillance technology that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The daily routine for these maximum security prisoners is so rigid and restrictive that it would break most people's spirits within weeks. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that you have exactly 1 hour of freedom ahead of you. That's the reality for Supermax inmates, 23 hours of solitary confinement, followed by 60 minutes where they can choose one other prisoner to walk with in what resembles an empty concrete swimming pool. Armed guards surround this exercise area, watching every step, listening to every word. The cells themselves are technological marvels designed for complete containment. Each unit is equipped with electronic doors that can only be operated remotely, surveillance cameras that record continuously, and communication systems that allow guards to speak with inmates without ever opening a door. Natural light is limited, fresh air is filtered, and contact with the outside world is severely restricted. Phone calls happen inside cages, literally. When an inmate needs to make their one permitted call per week, they're escorted to a secure booth that looks more like an animal enclosure than a communication facility. Every conversation is recorded, every word is analyzed, and any suspicious activity is immediately flagged for investigation. The psychological impact of this environment cannot be overstated. A 2008 report by the New South Wales Ombudsman stated bluntly that there is no doubt that the facility does not provide a therapeutic environment for these inmates. Prisoners have reported self-mutilation, severe depression, and complete mental breakdown under these conditions. Yet the system continues because the alternative, releasing these individuals into the general prison population, poses too great a risk. These are people whose crimes were so heinous, whose potential for violence so extreme, that society has decided complete isolation is the only acceptable option. The names on Supermax's prisoner list read like a catalogue of Australia's most shocking crimes. This isn't just any maximum security facility. It's specifically designed to house individuals whose very presence would destabilize any normal prison environment. Let me walk you through some of the people who have called this place home, and you'll understand why such extreme security measures exist. Malcolm Naden, once Australia's most wanted man, spent years here after his capture in 2012. Police had placed a $50,000 bounty on his head during a 7-year manhunt that captivated the nation. His crimes included murder and a string of break-and-enter offenses that terrorized rural communities across New South Wales. When tactical operations units finally tracked him to a rundown cabin near Gloucester, he was arrested in a heavily armed nighttime operation. Then there's Michael Cannon, whose involvement in organized crime and violent offenses earned him a place in Australia's most secure facility. Convicted of murder, malicious wounding, and discharging firearms with intent, Cannon represents the type of individual whose criminal network extends far beyond prison walls. Intelligence suggests he attempted to establish payroll systems for fellow inmates, demonstrating how criminal enterprises can continue operating even from maximum security. Seth Gonzalez presents perhaps the most chilling case of all. In 2001, he murdered his entire family, his father Teodoro, mother Mary Loiva, and sister Claudine, in their own home. After committing these horrific acts, he calmly showered, changed clothes, and spray-painted messages on the walls to mislead police into thinking the murders were hate crimes. The calculated nature of his actions and his complete lack of remorse made him an ideal candidate for Supermax isolation. These cases represent more than just individual criminal acts. They demonstrate patterns of behavior so dangerous that normal correctional approaches simply cannot contain them. Each of these individuals possesses the intelligence, connections, or psychological profile that makes them an ongoing threat to public safety, even from behind bars. When security fails. Despite its reputation as Australia's most secure prison, Goulburn has experienced security breaches that exposed critical vulnerabilities in even the most sophisticated correctional systems. These incidents didn't just embarrass authorities, they revealed how determined criminals can exploit weaknesses that designers never anticipated. The most shocking breach occurred in 2015, when maximum security inmate Stephen Jameson executed what prison officials called an impossible escape. Using nothing more than a hacksaw blade, bed sheets, a pillow, and a mop handle, Jameson managed to cut through the gate, scale the prison walls, and disappear into the New South Wales countryside. This was the first escape from Goulburn's maximum security section in 19 years, and it sent shockwaves through the entire correctional system. But here's where the story gets truly disturbing. Investigators discovered that Jameson had been planning his escape for months, possibly years. He had systematically studied guard routines, identified blind spots in surveillance coverage, and acquired the tools necessary for his breakout. The hacksaw blade alone raised serious questions about how contraband was entering what was supposed to be Australia's most secure facility. The security failures didn't stop there. In the same year, prison officials discovered that another inmate had smuggled a mobile phone into his cell and was actively using it to post pictures and updates on social media. This wasn't just a communication breach. It was a massive intelligence failure that could have compromised ongoing investigations. Even more alarming, in 2011, an unnamed Supermax inmate allegedly used a contraband mobile phone to plot 2 kidnappings and a shooting from inside his maximum security cell. Think about that for a moment. Someone in Australia's most secure prison was potentially orchestrating serious crimes while under 24-hour surveillance. The mobile phone problem became so severe that authorities installed sophisticated jamming equipment throughout the facility. This technology creates an electronic dead zone where no cellular communication is possible. These breaches forced a complete reassessment of Supermax security protocols, resulting in the $47 million upgrade that includes enhanced electronic surveillance and improved screening systems. Behind the technological sophistication and security statistics lies a troubling human reality that challenges everything we think we know about justice and rehabilitation. The conditions inside Supermax have sparked intense debate among human rights advocates and correctional professionals about whether such extreme isolation serves any purpose beyond punishment. The psychological toll on inmates is devastating and well documented. Prisoners report severe mental health deterioration, including hallucinations, paranoia, and complete social withdrawal. Self-mutilation has become disturbingly common, with inmates harming themselves simply to feel something other than the crushing weight of complete isolation. Medical professionals who have studied these conditions compare them to psychological torture. But the impact extends far beyond the prisoners themselves. Families of Supermax inmates describe the agony of watching their loved ones deteriorate mentally and emotionally. Limited visiting hours, language restrictions, and the sterile, intimidating environment make maintaining human connections nearly impossible. Children grow up without knowing their fathers, and parents watch their sons disappear into a system designed to erase their humanity. The financial cost is equally staggering. Housing a single inmate in Supermax costs taxpayers approximately $300,000 per year, nearly 10 times the cost of a standard maximum security placement. When you multiply this by 75 inmates over decades-long sentences, the total expense reaches into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet prison administrators defend the facility as absolutely necessary for public safety. They point to the violent histories of Supermax inmates, their continued attempts to orchestrate crimes from behind bars, and the chaos that would result from placing them in general prison populations. For these officials, the human and financial costs are acceptable prices for protecting society from individuals who have proven themselves capable of unthinkable violence. As Australia expands its Supermax capacity and other nations study this model, one question remains unanswered. In our quest to protect society from its most dangerous members, have we created a system that reflects the very violence we claim to oppose? Let us know what you think, and remember to like and subscribe for more deep dives like this one.